Okay, so I have now come to the end of day one with my hearing aids. So I figured I would go ahead and give a quick wrap up of how the day has been. It's been phenomenal, to say the least. Um, and so to start off again, this morning I went and I had the opportunity to have my total comprehensive hearing evaluation with Dr. Russ Broadhead, and I had the opportunity to be fitted with hearing aids, and they were customized, computerized, customized for my particular hearing loss, which is a moderate hearing loss in both ears. And when I was talking with Russ, it was very eye opening because he gave a lot of information that opened my eyes really to a lot of information that I hadn't even thought of. One of which is that because I've been going for so long with the moderate hearing loss and kind of trying to do the whole fake it till you make it type thing, and just trying to get by with this hearing loss, I have been my brain has basically been having to work extra hard in different areas of my brain in order to make up for those lack of hearing ability, um, and because volume is not necessarily the problem with my particular hearing loss. And so my brain has been trying to work double time in comprehension of a lot of things. And it hasn't always been successful. And so this will give me an opportunity to be able to, I guess, relax my brain a bit while I am able to use the hearing aids. Um, Along those lines, one of the things that has been linked um, to dementia and Alzheimer's is hearing loss, and that aspect of I know I'm going to probably butcher it, and I apologize, Russ, but the aspect of your brain having to fill in the blanks too many times for, and to work overtime to be able to correct that inability to hear, it is not always able to process everything properly, and it tires down certain areas of the brain. And so there is a link to dementia and Alzheimer's and hearing loss, especially long term hearing loss. And for me, that's actually a really interesting uh, bit of information because my mother is dealing with a form of dementia at this time. And one of the things that Russ had said is that there is more studies that have been able to come out in recent years, 2011 and then 2013, more aspects of the study has come out to be able to help link um, working on fixing your hearing when you're younger, to possibly help prevent some of the possibilities of dementia. And so to me, that is a really big thing because dementia tends to run in my family history. I have grandparents that have had dementia, and my mother, unfortunately, is experiencing a form of it at this time. And so my kids have, of course, asked if it would be something that they would have to experience with me in the future. And prior to today, my only answer was most likely. And it's kind of heartbreaking to think, but reality is it's it runs in my family. But at this point, one of the things Russ had said is that there's a possibility that by working on fixing my hearing now and making it so that I don't have to constantly work on unconsciously utilizing a different portion of my brain to hear, that that section of my brain would be able to not be, I guess you can say, not as tired down the line, and so that there would be um, a chance that it could help prevent, along with a few other things, but help prevent the possibility of dementia for me down the line, which, I mean, it may be years before we know anything about that, obviously, but it's really interesting that that is being tied together. So thank you so much, Russ, for giving me that information, because it gives me hope, you know. Um, there were several other things that Russ and I talked about this morning whenever we had my consultation. It was technically scheduled for about a 2-hour consultation. I was in there with him for almost 3 hours. And granted, part of that is because I was talking with him and he was talking with me because we know each other and it was nice to be able to catch up. But a lot of that time was doing everything for my comprehensive hearing evaluation and for filling me in on a lot of information that is actually really helpful to know with regards to my hearing loss and hearing loss in general. But one of the things that was very interesting was that I hear a buzz, kind of a ringing in my ears. I would always say in the past, ears multiple, but it turns out that for the most part, it's in my left ear. And I didn't realize that. And it's something that's always been in the background for me, as far as I can remember. And because it's always in the background, I don't always pay attention to it, and I don't always realize it's there. But I was filling out paperwork this morning, and one of the questions was, do you have ringing in your ears? And all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, I can hear it now. And then I forgot about it. I could still hear it, but I forgot about it because it was, background noise. And then Russ asked about it, and boom, all of a sudden I could hear it again. And it's not that it went away, it's just that for the most part, because it's always there, it is something that is background noise, and I don't even consciously realize it's there unless it's brought up or it's really quiet and I'm bored or stressed or whatever, and then it comes up and it's all I hear. But he was able to pinpoint actually the frequency and the volume basically that I hear that noise in, and it was totally cool because he mimicked that with the machines, doing the audiology testings, and he was able to mimic that to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I hear in that left ear all the time. And so one of the things that he had talked about is that there's actually certain ways that like certain hearing therapies and stuff that can actually, in some patients, make it so that noise goes away, sometimes temporarily, sometimes permanently. And it is very interesting. And so in my left ear, that the decibels that I hear in that ringing in my ear is the one area, apparently, I don't fully understand it because, this isn't my area of expertise in any way. Not all of it makes very much sense to me, but it did to Russ, and so he tried to explain it. But that one area in my left ear is an area that I have severe hearing loss in that particular decibel level. It's way down on the bottom of the scale. And so he was able to utilize the computer and stuff like that with these hearing aids specifically for that left ear, to be able to make it so that that would not be a problem for me while I'm using the hearing aids. And for the most part, I have to say, during the day, I haven't really heard it. He did warn me that there's a really high likelihood that whenever I turn the hearing aids off for the evening, which I'm not looking forward to be honest, but I have to, he said that there's a high likelihood that all of a sudden I'll be able to hear that ringing in my ear again that I hadn't, and it will probably seem really, really loud to me because I hadn't heard it all day since I've had the hearing aids in. Um, but it's very interesting that that aspect of things um, can make such a difference with hearing. There were several other aspects that we talked about this morning in the hearing evaluation, and I am really excited to have been able to learn some of these things and continue to learn. And throughout the day, I have to say that it has been a beautiful experience. It's been a beautiful experience to be able to hear so many different things. I've already given a few videos explaining a few of the things that I've heard, a few things that it was suggested for me to listen out for was wind in the trees, which sounded incredible. The sound of my feet crunching on walking on gravel. That sounded so cool. Um, the sound of my grandson sleeping. Just the breath. He's sleeping right now on in my lap, and I can hear him breathe, and it's just so cool. Um, the purr of a cat. I have two cats, and so I was able to hear the purr in a way that, I mean, I've been able to hear purrs before. It's not something that is all of a sudden shockingly brand new to me, but the level of intensity, I guess you could say, is just something that was just so cool. I was able to hear when I rifled my fingers through my hair. I was able to hear that. That just sounded so weird to me. I was able to hear as I was walking outside in not just the gravel, but just in the dirt outside as I was walking towards my gate to open the gate to go out to drive out of the yard. I was able to hear all of those steps, which I'm not used to doing. I realized that the air conditioning in my van is really loud. And so that is something that I'm going to have to get used to. Apparently, I'm going to be able to adjust and get used to it, and it's not going to be a big issue for me over the next couple of days. The first few days apparently is supposed to be it's supposed to be pretty difficult for me, and it has been. There have been some hard moments of hearing as well as the positives, because there have been things that have been too loud for me. And have been really difficult for me. Part of it has made me tempted to want to take the hearing aids out, going, oh, never mind, it's just too much. But I'm not, because I know that I have to adjust and I have to get used to it, and my brain just has to get used to all of this bombardment of noise. And as I am wearing the hearing aids, I will start to get used to it, and I will get to the point where I can filter noises out in ways that I haven't been able to in the past because I didn't need to. And so, either way, I think that at the end of today, day one, it has been really successful. Not everything positive, but I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting to be overwhelmed, which I have been. But there was so many positives. It was a really emotional day, and I'm in love with this whole concept of hearing, and it is just the most amazing thing. I look forward to starting the day tomorrow morning and figuring out exactly where I'm going to go in the morning when it comes to what I can hear. I will get ready to experience what it's like in just a little bit to turn them off so that I can actually get ready to go to bed, because I'm not supposed to sleep in them. And so I know it will be a tremendous shock, and I think that in itself is going to be emotional for me as well, because all of a sudden, all of this beautiful hearing that I've had all day will be gone, and it will be an instantly stark reminder of the significance of my hearing loss and what I have lived with for so many years. So I guess that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, and that's the end of day one. And I will go ahead and update tomorrow on how things have gone and what the experience was like tonight for me to take off the hearing aids, and go from there. Okay, thank you so much. You guys have a great evening. Okay, bye.